Hey everyone, I'm out here at the Luckiamute State Natural Area where the Luckiamute River runs into the Willamette just across from the Santiam, a little bit north of Albany. This is a huge, nearly 1,000-acre state park, and the Luckiamute Watershed Council, has been working here for 15 years, probably more at this point. We've done several phases of restoration, and I'm out here getting pictures of the fifth and most recent one for a grant report. And I just wanted to share the progress with y'all because it looks amazing. It is a 60-acre formerly leased ag field that was turned over for restoration after the river ate into the bank a little bit and complicated access for farm equipment. So in 2022, this field was planted with a couple 100,000 native trees and shrubs. We've done interplanting in 2023 and 24 as well, and this was the first year with no interplantings. And it's just it used to look like a big donut hole in the middle of a whole bunch of beautiful, healthy floodplain forest along the Willamette. And now it's getting planted and revegetated, and it is coming along very nicely. A lot of the willows are taller than me. A lot of the cottonwoods are twice as tall as me after just 4 years. This is only the 4th year of growth for these guys. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you around a little bit and let you get a glimpse of how the restoration's coming here. Come with me. Zoom out. So it's a little hard to tell scale in this image, but we are on the northern end of this 60-acre field, and the plant survival is just incredible. Really high survival, and everything's thriving, and several of the plants are already what we call in the industry free to grow, where most of the common weeds like thistle and blackberry and stuff can't really compete with them and kind of crowd them out anymore. Like that cottonwood sticking up in the middle of the frame there, that's probably twice as tall as I am. Several of these willows are much taller than me already, and a lot of these shrubs are not as tall, but they're shorter stature. So they're doing pretty good for what they are, and it's creating a nice diverse structure in the habitat. So kind of think of like a timber plantation where they plant nothing but one species of tree all at the same time, and what comes out is a really kind of homogeneous smooth system where everything is the same size and age, and there's not a lot of structural complexity. So with these restoration plantings, we're just introducing a greater diversity of species, both tree and shrub, so that we increase not only the biodiversity of the site, but the structural diversity. And that's really important because a lot of native animals, insects, birds, and others have evolved to utilize different parts, like physical parts of an ecosystem. And this is an adaptation to avoid competition with each other. So the same acreage can support a greater diversity of animal species the more plant species there are there. And it also creates seasonal bloom, which means there's a pollen source available for bees and butterflies and moths and hoverflies and all kinds of other pollinators most of the year. You know, one species will flower, and then those flowers will drop off and another will get started. There's a little example right there ahead of us. That purple flower in the middle of the frame is a really beautiful little Douglas spirea that is a late bloomer. Most of the other spirea is spent, but it's popping out there and giving some pollen for these pollinators. We've also got twinberry, black twinberry, like this guy right here. Now this one has already flowered a while ago and is setting fruit. So this system is creating pollen sources for the animals that need those, and fruit sources for the animals that need those at different times of year. And there's just something always available, and that's how you support wildlife year-round in a system. That's why diverse ecosystems are so important, and you hear people talking about them all the time. In this planting, this is a floodplain of both the Willamette and Luckiamute. So where I'm standing right now will be underwater in the winter in most years, and that creates really important floodplain kind of off-channel habitat for native salmon and other fish that are kind of rearing before heading out to the ocean. The main channel of the Willamette and Luckiamute and other rivers gets ripping and roaring too intensely, and it's kind of like trying to swim against a fire hose to get around in there. So they look for these slower water side habitats on the wings of the rivers where they top the banks and get into the floodplain. And this is so important for salmon and trout and lamprey and everything they depend on. They can rest out here. You can imagine if that's underwater and fish are swimming around the base of all that, that's really good protection from predators, lots of spaces to hide. And then all the insects that utilize these shrubs and trees all year long, they suddenly become available to the fish as a food source once this place is underwater. And there have been multiple studies that have been published showing that salmon and trout and things like that that have access to these floodplain habitats, they have a higher survival rate, and they get to be much bigger before they go out into the ocean and have to start dodging seals and orcas and things like that. And there's been a pretty strong correlation between a bigger size when they head out to the ocean and a better survival rate. So this 60-acre patch here, full of lush, beautiful, diverse native trees and shrubs, providing habitat for all kinds of fish and wildlife and pollinators all year long, is another important puzzle piece in this really critical keystone habitat anchor that's being restored. The Luckiamute Watershed Council, Oregon Parks and Recreation Department, Greenbelt Land Trust, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and many other partners are collaborating to kind of put this place back together and heal this landscape. We have to do it in chunks, a little bit at a time every year, but that persistence is paying off, and we're getting to the point where it's almost 1,000 acres, probably soon over 1,000 acres of healthy or healing habitat at a really important river confluence. And there's many more phases of restoration to come. An exciting future for this landscape. We're excited to continue to show you how it changes over time. So just for scale, I'm about halfway through this field. So, you know, shooting from the hip, we're looking at about 30 acres so far. And there's another 30 abouts south of me here. We'll leave you here for now because the sun glare will probably get too intense for the camera. Thanks for coming with me on this walk, and we'll see you next time.